Okay, so if you're a fan of rom-coms, you've probably already heard the buzz. Emily Henry, yeah, the queen of the genre, has a brand new book out, Great Big Beautiful Life, and it is everywhere. So today we're going to dive deep into the reviews, break down what it's all about, what works, what maybe doesn't, and hopefully help you figure out if this one's for you.
And look, when I say this thing is a hit, I am not kidding. We're talking an instant #1 bestseller. Not just that, it got picked for Reese's Book Club right out of the gate. So yeah, the hype is absolutely real. But what's all the fuss actually about?
I saw one review that just nailed it. They called it a glossy, big-hearted rom-com with a literary bent. I mean, that phrase, it just perfectly sets the stage, right? You know you're getting all that warmth and fun you want from a rom-com, but with this extra smart, bookish layer on top. And that really brings us to the big question, the whole reason we're doing this explainer. There are so many books out there vying for your attention. Is this the one you should pick up next? Well, let's figure it out together. Okay, so first up, let's talk about why the hype is so real. The whole setup is just classic Emily Henry. Picture this, a small, charming Georgia island. You've got two rival writers, and they're both chasing the exact same story of a lifetime. I mean, come on, that's just the perfect recipe for some serious rivalry. And maybe a little romance. So let's meet our rival, shall we? On one side, we've got Alice Scott. She's this bubbly, maybe a little impulsive celebrity journalist who is just dying for her big break. And then on the other side, Hayden Anderson. He's a super serious, principled, Pulitzer-winning biographer. You see it, right? It's the classic opposites attract setup. And if you know this genre, you know that's just perfect for some amazing witty banter and that delicious slow burn tension.
So what's this huge story they're both fighting tooth and nail for? It's the life story of a woman named Margaret Ives. She's this super reclusive, totally mysterious heiress. And what's interesting is, even though Margaret isn't always on the page, her past, which is just full of secrets, is like the book's gravitational center. It's what pulls Alice and Hayden into her orbit and, forces them to really look at why they're doing what they're doing.
All right, so now that we've got the setup, let's get into what the book really gets right, because the reviews are pretty unanimous on this. When this book hits its stride, it really hits it. It's all thanks to this kind of winning formula that Emily Henry has just absolutely perfected over the years. And that praise seems to boil down to three main things. First off, the dialogue. It's just so sharp, so witty, and every character sounds completely distinct. Then there's the plot. It's big, it's cinematic. You can almost see the movie playing in your head as you're reading. And maybe most importantly, this isn't just a romance. It's actually a really smart exploration of storytelling and the ethics behind it. And that really gets to the heart of why people love her book so much. One review put it perfectly, saying Henry's greatest strength is her ear for voice. It's that authentic, emotionally real dialogue that just hooks you and keeps you completely glued to the page. But, no book is perfect, right? So we have to ask the question. As good as that winning formula is, some reviews suggest that for certain readers, it might also feel, well, a little familiar. So let's flip the coin and look at the other side for a minute. The reviews did point out a couple of spots where the book kind of plays it safe, It's treading on some very comfortable ground, which is great, but that can also feel a bit predictable. Okay, so there are two main critiques that pop up. The first one is about the plot. It relies on some pretty familiar romance tropes. So if you've read a lot in this genre, you're probably going to see the twists coming from a mile away. And that can make the plot feel a little paper thin in spots. The second point is about the scope of the world. The story is very tightly focused on a white, straight couple. And for some readers, that can make the world feel a bit insular, especially if you're looking for more diverse representation. So when you put it all together, the amazing strengths and those more familiar weaknesses, the reviewer landed on a final score, a really solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. So definitely a very good book, just maybe not a totally groundbreaking one. Okay, so we get to the most important part. What does all this mean for you? Let's pull all these threads together and really figure out if this is the book you should be adding to your to-be-read pile. So based on the reviews, you're probably going to love this book if, 1, you're already a fan of Emily Henry. This is her signature style, just sharpened and refined. 2, you like your romance to come with a bit of a brain, something with some real intellectual depth. And 3, if your book club is on the hunt for a book you can actually sink your teeth into and discuss, with all those meaty themes about storytelling and ethics.
And really, this brings us to the final takeaway. You should absolutely pick this book up for that amazing witty banter and all the emotional heart. It's a top-tier comfort read. But you might want to temper your expectations if you're hoping for something that's going to totally reinvent the genre or hit you with a bunch of shocking twists. This book is all about fantastic execution of a familiar story, not about radical newness. So I'll leave you with this one question, which really feels like the question at the very core of the book itself. When we tell someone else's story, how much of that story ends up becoming our own? It's a really fascinating thing to think about, and it's what makes Great Big Beautiful Life so much more than just another love story.